Hey YouTube! So this is just like a little update and we're probably gonna like string this along later, but I got a job interview finally. I actually had to email him back and was like, hey, I'm still interested, because I kind of forgot he emailed me and I was waiting for somebody else, but we're desperate and we need money because we're a broke college student. So I have an interview tomorrow at 10:30, so wish me luck. So I kind of just want to do a little bit of background of what happened before yesterday. Me and my roommate were like looking for jobs because we're broke. And we're gonna have an apartment at some point, so might as well go ahead and start saving money now so we're not like in the hole later. So we had gone down to like our downtown area, which was really small anyway, and there's not a lot of shops there. So the 12 or so places we asked, nothing. And this one lady we got, she ended up not even hiring my roommate. So I was like, why would she hire me if she's not gonna hire her? So I was like, okay, this isn't working. Like this isn't gonna happen. So I was in Starbucks like maybe 3 weeks ago, and I heard a kid who was in my physics class. We always end up going to Starbucks at the same time after class, but I always get there first because I don't know which way he walks. But and I heard him ask if they were hiring, and they were like, yes, we are. And I was like, okay, I got friends at home who work at Starbucks. I could work at the other one, and we could all like, all the Starbucks juice or whatever. And so I was like, okay, cool. So I emailed the lady, and I was like, hey, I heard about it, because I didn't know you had to apply like through this place. And so I was like, yeah, like, let's do it. And she was like, okay, I'll come in for an interview on Tuesday. And I was like, okay. So I texted her on Tuesday, and keep in mind this was like 3 weeks ago, and she was like, I don't know who you are, like I don't remember your email. And I was like, what are you talking about? And she was like, well, you have to put in a official application or whatever. And I was like, okay, well, no one told me that, which would have made sense because it's an official application, but still no one told me like what website I had to apply through. So I was like, oh, okay, sure. She was like, oh, I do remember your email, LOL. So first of all, I was like, okay, why would you lie and like say you don't remember me and then all of a sudden you remember me now? Like, bullshit. And so I turned in my application, and I get an email from her the next day, and she was like, let me know when you turn in your application. I was like, okay, I turned it in yesterday, and I haven't heard from her. And I get an email from a guy who works at our courtyard, which is where like the main cafeteria is on the other side of campus that I normally don't go to. And so he was like, hey, like, give me a call if you're interested or whatever. And I was like, okay, well, I'll think about it. I'll wait for the manager at the Starbucks to email me back. And I still at this point have not received an email from her, and it's been about a week. And so the other day I was sitting in the courtyard because I had gone to Witch because that's the good place. And so I was sitting there, and I was like, let me just text him back. Like, let me just text him and get an interview going. So I saw that he had emailed me back again and was like, if you're still interested, call me. So I was like, okay, well, that's promising. If he's like really wanting me, like he's gonna text me multiple times. And so I text him, and I get a response immediately. And he was like, when can you come in for an interview? And I was like, well, I can come in tomorrow. And he was like, all right, bet. And I was like, okay. So tomorrow or yesterday rolls around, and I was like, okay, cool. So I walk in the back, and I was confused because he was like, I'm the first office on the right. And I was like, okay. And so I walk in the back, and it was like dishwashing room, like extra containers, and like all like the stuff that's normally in the back of a restaurant. So I was like, okay, yeah, like, okay, where's his office though? And so I walked in the back, like I kept walking, and it stunk. It smelled like moldy dishes. So I was like, this is obviously like a real working restaurant place. And so I was walking, I kept walking, and I found his office, and he was in there, but he was like listening to a voicemail. So I was like, I don't want to like knock on the door and like interrupt him. So he ended up turning around and seeing me, and he was like, hey. And I was like, are you Ken? And I was like, shit, that's like, I can't call him that. Like, that's not what his name is. I can't call him that. And I called him that anyway. And he was like, yeah. And so I came and I sat down, and like we were going through the interview and all whatever, and like kids that were working at like the other places in the courtyard were like, oh, is she gonna come with us? Is she gonna come with us? And I was like, y'all, I'm not even hired yet. You've got to slow down. And so we go through the process of like asking questions, and he's like, okay, so write down your availability. So I was like, okay, this is promising. At this point I still haven't been hired. So I like pulled up my schedule, and I was like writing everything down, and he was like, okay, so I'm gonna put you at Moes. And I was like, what? So it didn't hit me that like he had hired me, but he didn't say it. He was like, I'm gonna put you at Moes, because that's like closer to my house. Like I had spoken to him before about like how I wanted Witch or Moes, and the Moes was closer to my house, and he was like, so I'm gonna put you at Moes because we need people there. So I was like, oh, okay. So I got a job at Moes, and I was kind of nervous because I always know that jobs that you get hired on the spot at are not top tier, and I got hired at my last job on the spot, and it wasn't half bad. So I was like, cool, I work at Moes. So I don't know when I start yet, and I don't know how much I get paid, don't know anything. I just know that I get spring break off, so that's exciting. That's all I'm here for. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Today's video was super more positive than last week's, I know that for sure. So I will see you guys on Sunday.